Cobra Kai Season 6 has been rumored. Here's what we know. Even though Cobra Kai Season 5 is still months away from airing, showrunner Jon Hurwitz has already created some major buzz about the possibility of Season 6. Some fans were concerned that the filming of Seasons 4 and 5 at the same time was a sign they were wrapping up the series and ensuring that the younger actors did not age so much that it would break continuity. But the showrunners have all given some, let's just say, promising news about the future of the show. So stay tuned for all of that and all the latest about whether or not Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith, and Hilary Swank will be reprising their roles. Will Season 6 be the end of Cobra Kai? In a recent tweet, Josh Hurwitz clarified a misconception that's been swirling about the show's longevity. In an interview from a few seasons ago about where he sees the show finishing, the showrunners Josh Heald, Jon Hurwitz, and Hayden Schlossberg were misquoted about Season 6 being the end of the series. In reality, the creative team behind the show said they need at least 6 seasons to tell the story they have in mind, so it's really just a matter of Netflix and all the die-hard fans continuing to put pressure on the streaming service to keep it going. The showrunners have been open about their desire to keep the series running for as long as possible, but they do have an end in mind. So a few years ago, when they announced they'd need at least 6 seasons, they were simply unsure about how far the story could take them and also how long Netflix would allow it. But as we stare down the barrel of Season 5, Hurwitz and Heald seem exceedingly confident in the show's longevity and their Netflix overlords' willingness to let it play out. How long can the show go on? We know for certain that Season 5 of Cobra Kai is not going to be the end of the story. The writers have confirmed writing even through the next season. Everybody is just waiting for the official green light to make it happen. The writers have talked about a process where they, to an extent, let the show write itself and allow for characters and plot lines to come to more natural conclusions than having a fixed number of seasons or episodes that they want to tell their story with. They expanded on their writing process in a recent interview with Collider, where Hurwitz said, "There are characters and storylines that we've considered that from the beginning we would have said, okay, that's a season, and that storyline ended up being an episode or two. And then there's the opposite of that where you say, okay, this is a season, and now we're going to extend that into multiple seasons." So we've always looked back at our original plan with open eyes because with so many new branches and so many new characters and interactions, and what you're seeing during production when, oh wow, these two people together, there's something interesting about that duo, you want to lean more into it. And when you do lean more into it, it naturally pushes other things along and further out. There's a double edge to this writing process. On one hand, they've created a series that has a life of its own, where naturalism and characters take center stage, and the show can, in theory, run forever. The downside of this process is that it won't run forever. Sooner or later, Netflix will cut the proverbial cord, and that has the potential to leave stories unfinished and viewers unsatisfied. Even though we hope the show runs for as long as possible, we also hope the showrunners and Netflix can come to an agreement on when the conclusion will be, and they won't make any rash decisions if Season 5 or Season 6 underperform. So what can we expect from Season 5 of Cobra Kai? Due to the consecutive filming of Seasons 4 and 5, Season 5 of Cobra Kai will be released September 9th on Netflix, less than a year after the Season 4 release. The main cast of characters are all slated to be back, and based on the Season 5 trailer, there will be a road trip with Johnny and Robbie headed to Mexico to search for Miguel, who is in search of his father. You can also expect Daniel to do everything he can to get his dojo back after losing it to Kreese at the 51st annual All-Valley Karate Tournament. Kreese seems to have unrivaled power in influencing the next generation of karate fighters, which we know is terrible news for basically everyone living in the valley. There has been buzz about more cameos in the next season, but so far, they've kept everything under wraps. Is Hilary Swank going to be part of Season 6? Although nothing has been confirmed, rumors have been swirling for years about Hilary Swank reprising her role as Julie Pierce in the show. Swank's character has no intrinsic connections to anyone in the series outside of Mr. Miyagi, but that won't stop writers from finding an inroad for her as long as all parties are up for it. Swank is dealing with the passing of her father, so no one would blame her if she took some time away from acting, but there have been a number of subtle and not so subtle hints about Swank's return to the role in future seasons. In a recent interview, Hurwitz jokingly teased the audience by saying, maybe we've met with her, maybe we've worked with her, maybe we haven't. And if that little teaser isn't enough to make you believe they're fully confident she'll be appearing on the show, fellow showrunner Hayden Schlossberg said, if you're a fan of The Next Karate Kid and want to see Julie Pierce, who Hilary Swank played, we're the show to watch to see if that happens. And although this statement is nonsensical because there literally is no other show that Julie Pierce could be on, it seems like the showrunners are intentionally creating buzz about her return. If it's false, this would go down as one of the dumbest promotional blunders in the history of, well, promoting. There is also a small possibility that they have reprised the role of Julie Pierce, but with someone other than Swank. But that type of misdirection would be absolute death for whoever they chose for the role. If fans were expecting Swank, but were given someone entirely new, she'll likely need to delete her socials and maybe even enter witness protection. So it's safe to say Swank is in. Whether that return will be in Season 5, the all-but-announced Season 6, or in a later season they have already mapped out, it's really just a matter of time. Is there a place for Jackie Chan on the show? Having a full Miyagi-verse was absolutely not something the Karate Kid creator Robert Mark Kamen and Ralph Macchio thought was possible when the first movie was released in 1984. They knew they had a great story and interesting characters, but after 5 movies, an animated series, and now Cobra Kai, it's safe to say Kamen's semi-autobiographical tale about how he overcame his bullies completely shattered all expectations. However, not every single Karate Kid installment fits inside of the quoted Miyagi-verse. For example, the first 3 movies and the next Karate Kid all fit nicely inside the show's reality, since Mr. Miyagi is the sensei in all 4 of them. However, the short-lived 1989 animated series that only lasted 13 episodes is not in the Miyagi-verse, as the show heavily featured magical and fantastical elements that don't jive with the movies or Cobra Kai. As for Jackie Chan and Jaden's The Karate Kid, that also takes place outside of the Miyagi-verse due to one throwaway line in Season 1 of Cobra Kai that mentioned Jackie Chan, the actor. Because of this, showrunners fear that reintroducing Chan's character, Mr. Han, would break continuity and shatter the suspension of disbelief of some of their viewers. But that's not to say he's completely out of the mix. They could always find a way to bring Chan back as the actor for a small part on the show as a wink to the audience about the 2010 film. As for Chan's co-star Jaden Smith, the door remains open for him to reprise his role as Dre Parker, and with Will Smith as an executive producer for Cobra Kai, the only thing standing in the way is a matter of if everyone wants to do it. The Jackie Chan issue does sort of muddy the Miyagi-versal waters a bit, but if Dre Parker exists in the universe, then who was his sensei? However, that does feel like an inconsequential hurdle if everyone is on board with it. At this point, what seems more likely would be a canonical sequel to the 2010 film that stays in its own separate universe with its own characters. Unless, of course, Doctor Strange rips a hole in that one too. Just kidding. But maybe? No, just kidding. But maybe. So this is everything we know about the future of the Miyagi-verse. Let us know if there are any characters you think they should bring back as the show forges ahead to what should be the final few seasons.